Hello everybody, how you doing? This is Borna Kazerani from Melbourne, Australia. I hope you're doing fine. Tonight I'm going to have a conversation with Luke Abbot, who is an Australian artist who was born in 1981 in Australia, New South Wales. His designs are a jewelry brand that was started in 2012. After returning home from an exchange program at the Hiko Mizuno College of Jewellery in Shibuya, Japan, Abbot went to work designing and making. Using a diverse range of traditional metalworking techniques as well as 3D printing and laser cutting. Abbot's work spans centuries of technology. Having spent most of his life in rural New South Wales, the work reflects a love for small details of a neutral world. Each piece functions as an everyday item of jewelry and small-scale sculpture. With this base aesthetic, the principal driver of each designing, Abbot has been awarded in both fields, taking out a major prize at Contemporary Wearables in 2017, the highly commended award at the Heaven Art Prize for Small Sculpture in 2019. Focusing on high quality, original designs, Abbot's work is built to surprise and inspire the wearer. Now, the entire conversation is going to be in English, and if you're interested to find out more about Luke, actually you can go to his Instagram page after we finish our conversation. Now let me ask Luke to join me for a conversation. Hello, Luke.
Hi, how you going?
I'm doing perfect. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good, thank you.
Okay, I'm so glad I'm having you here tonight, and thank you very much for accepting to have a conversation with me.
No worries. Thanks for inviting me on.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much for being here, and would you like to say hi to those who are watching us now and probably going to watch us later?
G'day, everyone. Thanks for having a look at my work tonight and having a chat with us. Appreciate you logging in.
That's perfect. So I've got lots of questions, and also people have already started sending me the questions here, and I'm unsure actually if we're going to get enough time that I'm going to treat every single of them. So I'm going to start through my own questions first. So you've won 2 major awards at 2 major festivals for your work. One in 2017 and the other in 2019. Tell me a little bit about these awards and events, please.
So the 2017 award, which was Contemporary Wearables, is at a regional gallery in rural Queensland, a place called Toowoomba. Okay. And it is run every 2 years, and some of the jewelers, the Australian jewelers who I admire the most, have won that award. And when I went and had a look at their collection, I decided that when I saw it, I was like, I really want to be involved. And I started sending work to participate in that award in 2015. And okay. I made it into the finalists that year, which was amazing. And I thought I was very excited about that.
Of course.
And then in 2017, I entered again, and I actually won that year. So that was completely unexpected, and it was amazing. I was very impressed, stoked.
Why you're excited? Because your works are amazing. Actually, it's very unique. So, have you got any clue that why I've chosen you to have a conversation with? Can you guess? Well,
yeah, there you go. Well, I'm glad that people enjoy the work. That's good.
All right. I like your works because of its elegance, simplicity, and their coloring composition. You're using different insect faces in is perhaps one of the best and most creative ways to make a jewelry. I like to explain to me where the main idea of using different insect faces like butterflies and etc. came to your mind or crossed your mind.
Well, there's actually a pretty long tradition of using insects in jewelry. So all the way back to even sort of ancient Egyptian jewelry, the scarab beetle was a very was quite a prominent symbol within jewelry even then. And they did some really beautiful works that even had some type of mechanical work in those. Even we're talking, a long time ago. And then, so it's not like I'm the first person to try to put bugs into jewelry, but for me, it was more about the fascination that I feel when I'm sort of in nature and I'm seeing these little details all the time. And what I want to try and do with my work is get that sort of fascination across to a wider audience, because a lot of people sort of see bugs and they have an adverse reaction. Exactly. Whereas when people see jewelry, they have like the opposite reaction to that. So if I can get that action, that beautiful reaction from a bug, then that's kind of, that's what I'm trying to get,
And it's very easy to read it through your most of like you've taken lots of photographs through like in real one, like your live insects. And
I spent a bit of time checking them out. Yeah.
Fascination, not the fascination, other world. Like addiction. Probably.
Yeah, maybe not addiction, but yeah, fascination definitely.
I know. I'm just kidding you. Luke, well, I've been through your profiles almost since I've started to know you and getting to know your works, and very impressive and well done. And you're welcome. I want to take you back 2 years before. Why did you choose jewelry or jewelry? Yeah, jewelry. And what was your impression towards it? What I'm most interested to know is the connection between you and what you do as a jeweler.
Okay, so the reason I started thinking that jewelry was it's actually a really long time ago. So in high school, I had a metalwork, what was called art metal at my school. And I had a teacher there who, by the name of Bill Dorman, who I think still teaches at my old school. So he had studied contemporary jewelry as well, and lots of metalworking techniques, and just the freedom that he showed me with the way you can use metal, basically. And that was when I was probably 16. And so I saw that then, and I thought that was a really, like, a very interesting way to make art, basically. So for me, jewelry is very technical. It's something where you got to be really quite precise, and you really have to work hard to get it right. But then you add the art side to it, where it's quite expressive as well. And so that combination of technical, like craftsmanship and a creative aspect as well is what was really important for me with jewelry. So that's where I saw those two things meeting the best.
I see. Okay, so and how is the connection between you and what you're doing? What I'm trying to figure it out, like for each artist who I've spoken with, I don't care who they are right now. I'm really interested to know when was the first time something popped in their mind and said, well, I want to become somebody, or I want to do this career for my lifetime?
Well, this is probably going to sound bad, but I'm not an overly ambitious person. What I always wanted for my life was to be able to work with my hands, create things that people would see a long time from now and still think and still be fascinated. So as a kid, I would see when I went to a museum, I would get that same thrill of seeing something that was beautifully made as I would when I was out in the bush and seeing like an insect or a bird or something. And so all I wanted to really do was be able to make that someone else see that, maybe in 20 years. It didn't matter that I did it. That wasn't very important to me. What was important was the people were making cool stuff, basically. Right. And if I could make cool stuff and feed myself and house myself and my family, then all at the same time, then that's just a huge win for me. So
how old are you?
That's what I'm after.
Okay, fair enough. So, how old were you when you started to?
Well, I come from like a long line of craftspeople who work with their hands. So my grandfather was very much he was a builder, and my father's a builder as well. But they both have a real. My grandfather was very much into carving wood, and Dad's also very much into carpentry technique, and so I always valued working precisely with your hands. So that's kind of, I've always thought that was important. And then get to jewellery that sort of started in high school, where I thought that was the way I wanted to work with my hands.
Right.
And then I didn't do it straight out of school though. I spent years doing other stuff. And then eventually circumstances called me back, and I ended up managing to make a career out of it now. So
how old were you? My question is, how old were you?
How old when I first thought about jewelry?
Yes.
16.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the rings that you've made, and I loved it. It's the Orbis Paradisi.
Yeah, Orbis Paradisia. Yeah.
I love it. I will take you later. I will take you there later.
Okay.
In a signet form, I think that's a very chic and very cool ring. Tell me about its design, and please don't forget me to take you when you're gonna give us a tour to do it. But tell me about that. Tell me how.
Okay, so that's actually Orbis Paradisia was actually one of the few designs that I've done wasn't originally based only on an insect.
Yes.
So it's still very much the mechanics and the scale and everything is still very much like playing with a bug, but it's actually based on a bird of paradise. So the idea behind this design is that when it's in ring form, when it's folded up and fits on your finger, it is an extremely practical ring. So it's just like a ring that you could wear every day and no one would ever know that it's got anything else happening. And so the idea was for it to be comfortable and functional, but to have a surprise beauty element to it for the wearer. So
absolutely. Now you can show it. That's what you're talking
about. So this is the original shape one. So pretty plain, not plain, but a fairly normal ring, and then it has a transforming element.
Yeah.
So It has a few little. It's also got some coloring in there too.
Yes, yes, exactly. That shape. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, they're a lot of fun too when you have one on, then you get it's a little bit like a fidgeting sort of a thing too. You tend to be not paying attention sometimes and you're playing with it, you know. So
Yeah, and are you one of those people that who start um or starts like having templates, or no, some of your things is happening as the progress going on?
so sorry, what do you mean by having a template?
As a filmmaker, so I have a script making, like writing script, and then but the things can change whilst I'm shooting a film. All right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I come usually with something like that in particular. I've come up with the functioning part of it. So that transformation is very much it. Like I've designed that down to tenths of a millimeter
Wow.
before I start making it, and but then during the making process, then you have the ability to there's parts I know that there's certain areas where I can improvise a little bit, and
Yeah.
then and especially with the coloring. So I do all my titanium coloring using a handheld blowtorch. So it's just a little just a
Or
heat torch, and every color comes from a different temperature. So because my shapes and my templates, as you're saying, are very strict, like they have to be exactly how they are for it to work. So that's where that really important craftsmanship comes into it. That has to be perfect. But then with the coloring process, every single time I do it, I'm improvising.
I can.
So I can have a bit of an idea of what color I want, and I'm aiming for something, but there's always the ability for that to change during the process, and for me to miss a little bit or see something first and just stop there, you know? So
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
combination of
It's a
very strict and
it's a
quite fluid.
of both.
What's that?
It's a combination of both.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you find? Oh my God! Sorry, I'm screaming. How do you? Sorry, sir. How do you how do you find the jewelry industry in Australia? Tell me about it. Tell me about it a bit, and then I want you to talk about the things that you're struggling in your business.
Um, so with the jewelry industry in Australia, is very diverse. Like it's there's a big difference between what I do and general trade jewelry, and then there's art jewelry completely that's probably very different again. So I kind of am somewhere in between where I'm working with some trade principles and then working with some art principles as well. And so I think that generally the trade jewelry in Australia I've, has changed somewhat. There's less hand making in trade jewelry these days, and it's very competitive on price, which doesn't necessarily make for the best product always. You know, it makes for a worthy product, but not always the best product. And that's just a generalization. There's a lot of really beautiful trade jewelry out there too, but you just have to search for it. And then the art side of jewelry in Australia is probably quite small, but it's a pretty tight knit group as well. Like there's lots of people, everyone kind of knows everyone a little bit in the art jewelry side of things, and um, they're both really, they've both got their really strong points.
Very competitive.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's I'd say that everyone's struggling a little bit at the moment, especially with people, just because people don't have a lot of spare cash to throw around with the coronavirus situation that we've got going on. I really feel for the jewelers who have the bricks and mortar sort of shop, where you go into a shop and you buy stuff. Like, I think that's getting really hard in jewelry because there's so much online. The world's such a small place now.
And in this regard, later on, okay, there are lots of questions. So, but I want to ask you a favor right now. I want you to give us a tour, and you're gonna be
tour.
Yeah. So there is an option, as you can see on your screen, phone screen, that reverse the camera. But when you showing us your stuff, please do it slowly. And then if there are any projects, or if there are any projects that you're working on right now, you're leader. So you do what you prefer.
Okay, no worries. Look, I'll just spin the camera around. Okay, so what I've brought to show is I've got finished pieces here because if anyone knows my work very well, they also know that I have a 1-year-old at home and I couldn't stay and my studio is also at home. So right now he's sound asleep. So I've actually ducked off to my wife's office. And so I've had to bring the jewelry with me. So I don't have any half-finished pieces with me. I actually have only finished work.
Can you go closer?
Yeah. So these are my wing earrings. And these guys are, as you can see, these are the same template as you said before, but these are all different colorings.
I love that one.
Yeah, so with that one, like I've attempted to make those green. They're not green. But they're supposed to be green.
What's green?
So that's the beauty of titanium coloring. So that's the wing earrings. And then if we move up here, we've got the praying mantis earrings. So these guys are little studs.
Can you bring it closer?
Yeah. Just trying to get in focus.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's there's the stud back there. So sorry, I'm just adjusting that so you can see where your ear would actually go in there.
Okay.
Yep. And so they dangle, or they can actually, I've seen some people wear them climbing up their ear as well, which looks pretty cool. A little bit creepy for some, but I love that. So there you can see them in the azure color.
The purple one. Is that purple or blue? This one.
So that one, I call that azure, which is somewhere between purple and blue.
Can you take it off and just bring it close to the lens, please? I want to see that actually. Thank you.
So you'll see that there's some real purple sections and then some very blue sections too.
Mm-hmm.
The purple is actually a slightly lower temperature and the blue is a slightly higher temperature. And then this is the full blue. So these guys are a higher temperature blue. And then you go up to the next one, which is green. And again, with green, that temperature is way higher. So it's really hard to keep that temperature even, which is why you get...
What do you mean by that?
Okay,
Yeah.
So when I'm coloring these insects, I'm actually, as I said, I'm using that handheld blowtorch. And so I'm trying to keep one big area all exactly the same temperature.
Oh wow. That's okay. That should be accurate.
Yeah, so if you get that, so let's say you get that whole area exactly the same temperature, which is basically impossible, then the color would be very flat and exactly the same over the whole piece.
Okay.
But because I do it by hand and it's impossible to get that perfect temperature, then you get these beautiful little variations, which is an important part of how it works, in my opinion.
And you don't want to get exactly the same temperature and color because it shows that it's a handmade.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So I have done them. You can anodize as well. So anodizing is will give you the same, will give you exactly the same coloring, but you'll choose the voltage, which will give you perfect uniform color over the whole thing. And I have tried that, and I don't like it.
Can you please can you please stop and just bring it towards the camera lens that?
So this is my dragonfly drops.
Okay.
So there's all the hooks on these are sterling silver, by the way, but the colored material is titanium.
Okay, perfect.
So that's the dragonfly in the drop form.
Okay.
And then I also do these little dragonfly studs as well, which I'm just gonna
put on your hand, on your path. Yeah, it's much easier.
So that's the back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, so
My
and then we
favorite.
move up. So that's lots of the different colors in the dragonflies there, and then these are a new design for me actually. These are my bees, and they won't look exactly like honeybees because they're not based entirely on honeybees. They're based more on a combination of lots of Australian native bees and wasps. So.
Oh my! I love their color. It's beautiful, actually. This one, that one, and the next one, which look at.
Yeah, so this one's got a kind of a rainbow coloring through these ones.
Very unique.
So these guys are studs as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the back. But yeah, so because that's a high temperature at that end and then a lower temperature at this end. So you get that variation in the color throughout the whole piece. And then here's another attempt at green.
Colors, really.
Which I really enjoy. I like the green because it's never entirely green.
Exactly.
And then these are the first earrings I ever designed.
They are the best one. I love.
Look, yeah. I agree. My cicada earrings are definitely they may be my favorite design I've ever done anyway, but I just love cicadas anyway. They have always been a part of my life.
Of course. I like the color. It's perfect.
Yeah, so this has got a little bit of the bronzy color at the top. And then the purple and the blue as well. So
perfect.
And so when you do order my stuff online, it's all I can do is say that I'm sending you Azure earrings in this case. But yeah. Azure means there's going to be blue, there's going to be purple, there may be a little bit of bronze in there. There's always a little bit of variation.
We need to be a little bit faster, but I've got lots of questions. So can we go?
Yeah.
Rings.
Or should we do this one?
I like that one. Is that the one that the wings? Yes. Very creative. Wow.
Yeah, so that's my Christmas beetle pendant, and then we've got a cicada pendant here too. So it's
wow.
Anyway, did you want to have a look at some of the rings or?
Yes.
So here's a couple of. I'll just get out. This is a titanium ring here with a bit of a stone in this one. I'm just having a bit of trouble focusing. Also actually has a removable stone, this one.
Oh, very interesting. Wow.
But with that, so when it's on your finger, then the stone's locked in place. So it's still very secure, but you can change the colouring out in the stone if you wanted to.
Wow.
And then this is the Orbis Paradisia in the Signet version that you were talking about before.
I love it.
So a bit kind of a traditional signet ring shape, but also with that transforming ability there.
Wow. Wow. Well done.
Yeah. Well, this is a hive ring.
Wow. Very interesting.
That one's 3D printed in wax and then cast in sterling silver.
Wow.
Some cufflinks up here too, which are a little bit... So these are what I call my flat pack cufflinks.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
yes.
All right. That might
Well,
conclude the tour. If you want to see more of the work, you can always jump on the website or my Instagram.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so very much. And you can jump back on the chair.
All right, I'll just spin that back around.
Yeah, I love all of them, and well done, and very creative. I like her style, and look, what I believe, and I'm experiencing myself in Instagram, is Instagram and other social platforms which have helped thousands of artists to sell and promote their works. How has been your experience, and are most of your customers online customers or in person? You remember that you were just telling me, and I said like, yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So, I get I've got a um, lot of online fans, I guess. Lots of people love the work online, but jewelry is still such a personal thing that I
Yeah.
find that I still sell more when they touch it, you know. So people like to be there. So the biggest game changer for my career has been going to design markets. So I sell through small galleries all over Australia anyway, but that's a little bit here and there. But if I go to a big design market, then I find that I reach a huge audience very quickly, and
Right.
and they get to play with the work. And not everyone can buy it, but what's nice is having that face-to-face interaction with the customers,
Of course.
and being able to travel around Australia and do that is that's really fun as well. And it's certainly the way that my work sells the best as well. So it's kind of a win-win there. So coronavirus has obviously put a huge dent in that part of my business. So
In all businesses, like lots of
yeah.
people their
So
jobs.
I've been trying to do more and more online, and I have been selling more online. But it's nice to try and put a bit more work into the website and that type of thing at the moment too. Like I've found that I'm doing things a little bit differently. I'm sort of adding a couple of things too, you know. So I'm trying to design a couple of things at the moment as well. So we'll see where that takes me a long time to design things, but I slowly get through it.
Yeah. Well, that's very true. I'm gonna read the first question. There are more than 83 questions, so
Ah, okay.
yeah, I want to know more about how he sees the creatures. What is that he finds mesmerizing?
It's probably the movement. So when you see, because I mean, all these pieces are like I love my cicada earrings, but the pieces that I love making the most are the ones that have the movement. So the Orbis Paradisia and those beetles with the opening wings, they're the things that give me probably, the most satisfaction to create. And I think that it's when you're looking at the insects, it's that ability that they go from sort of, they can just look like like a beetle just looks like a little button. And then next thing you know, it's buzzing around, it's disappeared. It's that transforming ability that I'm really interested in.
Certainly. Here's my last question. There are lots of questions, but unfortunately, we don't have enough time to go through all of them. And always on live shows, because I choose like special people, people can.
Well, anyone's welcome to send me an email or direct message me later if they want.
That's what I mentioned actually when I started talking to my audience. What do you expect people to do to support your work, apart from, of course, buying your jewelry?
Look, I love that people enjoy looking at the Instagram and that type of thing, and the comments on Instagram. I get a bit of a kick out of that too. It's fun for people to be watching it. And the thing is, like some of those pieces, especially the transforming ones, that the price point is a bit high for a lot of people, and so I don't expect everyone to be able to just buy my work, but just anyone just enjoying it is fine. Like that's what I'm happy that people just like it.
That's very sweet, and yeah, that's very understandable. And yeah, is there anything else that you want to say and I didn't ask you in this regard?
Oh, it'd be nice to just say thank you for everyone for checking out the work all the time and just enjoying it. That's great, and thanks for the people who do make the purchases over online too, because throughout this coronavirus period, without people like taking a bit of a chance and spending their money online without holding the item, it would be much tougher. So I do appreciate that.
Okay, well, fair enough. Look, it was such a pleasure having you here and had a conversation. Well done with what you're doing. I really, really love like what you're doing and your work. And thank you very much. Did you like our conversation?
I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, I had a good time. Yeah, thanks for getting me on. It was fun.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I have to say goodbye, and I'll talk to you soon.
Good on you. Thanks for supporting so many Australian artists too by doing this. It's cool.
You're more than welcome. You're most welcome. That's the least things I can do, and I'm more than happy to help anyone who is creative and believes what he or what she's doing. Thank you.
Excellent. Have a good night.
Thank you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching us. And I had a conversation. I was talking to Luke Abbot. If you're interested to find out more about Luke, you can go to his Instagram page or website and figure that actually I had a conversation with. I'm sorry I'm sorry if I didn't get a chance to go through all your questions. Take care. Look after yourself. Be patient and have a wonderful time wherever you are. Take care.